we find ourselves in the driver's seat of the Rolls-Royce Cullinan Series 2, which is not a bad place to be, obviously. So let's go for a quick drive, or more specifically, a quick waft in the Rolls-Royce SUV. Oh my goodness. I've committed a cardinal sin. My spirit of ecstasy is not extended. I must extend that before I depart. There we go. Hood ornament up. Now we can begin. And that's what you do in a Rolls-Royce Cullinan. You begin. This is just going to be a free-form discussion on what it's like to be in a vehicle like this. I don't have it for that long, just 15-20 minutes for a quick drive. We're currently up in Wisconsin at the Midwest Automotive Media Association Spring Rally. The weather's been abysmal today, just dumping rain all day. And Road America is a fantastic track. It's not quite as thrilling when it is wet and you're in manufactured vehicles. But you know, a car that does not belong on the track is this one, the Rolls-Royce Cullinan. So we're going to go cruise along and see what the Series 2 is like. I have spent time with the first generation Cullinan, which was Rolls-Royce's SUV introduction. You know, they came out with the Phantom. That's their big flagship, and the Phantom is expensive. The Phantom is the true top tier Rolls-Royce. They are enormous. If you've never seen a Phantom in person, I'm not exaggerating. It's like the size of a crossover. Like, you park it next to a Range Rover Sport, and it's like almost the same size. It's hysterical how massive a Phantom is. That is a true statement vehicle. And I mean, an optioned up Phantom, like extended wheelbase, is a $600,000-$700,000 car. You can go absolutely insane. In the realm of normal Rolls-Royces, when I say normal as if any Rolls-Royce is normal, you have the Ghost, much more driver-focused, youthful. I think it's their best-selling model. They also now have a Series 2 Ghost of the latest iteration. And then off of that platform in the previous generation, we had the Dawn, the Wraith, the two-door versions. And then they came out with the Cullinan. There is the EV Spectre. So Rolls-Royce is filling out their portfolio with options. But the Cullinan as an SUV, you'd imagine it would do very well, and you'd be right. SUVs are very, very popular. Every brand, premium brand, from Porsche with the Cayenne, Lamborghini, the Urus, Bentley with the Bentayga, Ferrari with the Purosangue, even though they don't want to call it an SUV, it's an FUV. Is this a RUV, a Rolls utility vehicle, a luxury LUV, luxury utility, WUV, waft utility vehicle. That's what I call this thing. The Cullinan started doing very well. You see this all over the place. Honestly, the kind of the size presence allows you to be a bit closer to the Phantom in terms of just like the facial area of this thing, right? It's enormous. You of course have a twin turbo V12, the 6.75 liter twin turbo V12, making 563 horsepower, 664 pound-feet of torque. Now, there is a black badge version available, which ups the power to 600 pound-feet, or 600 horsepower, and there's flooring it in a Cullinan. And power reserve went down to 0. A thing about Rolls-Royces is you do not get a tachometer. You're not supposed to worry about what speed the cylinders are spinning away in your engine. Then don't worry about that. Instead, you get a power reserve. So it starts at 100% when you're using no power right now, and then as you roll onto the accelerator, the needle drops, and it shows you how much power you have left that you may still access. Some of the differences for Series 2. Immediately, you'll notice the fascia has been changed. Exterior redesign, and the front end is most noticeable. They went to more kind of angles. The DRLs kind of drop down in this 90-degree shape, like an L. When it first came out in photos, I was like, I don't know if I like that look. I don't think the squared off upper design with the big rectangular Pantheon grille works with like the angled lower fascia, but as soon as you see it in person, you're in awe of the majesty and the look, and it just somehow all still works, right? I still think I prefer the looks of the first-gen Cullinan, and that wasn't necessarily the prettiest one. I think the best-looking Rolls is either the Dawn/Wraith, a properly spec Dawn or Wraith is epic, or the pre-refresh, the pre-Series 2 new generation Ghost. So like the most recent Rolls-Royce Ghost, I really, really do like the way that looks, but we are in the Cullinan, so let's get back to that specifically. They changed up the tech on the inside. we now have Whispers integrated into your infotainment system. Whispers is the extremely exclusive invite members owner only app. Yes, if you're a Rolls-Royce owner, you get invited to Whispers, and they do all sorts of things. I remember for like Monterey Car Week, like the Rolls-Royce VIPs had something through Whispers. Maybe it was getting tickets for Quail, because it's impossible to get tickets for Quail. It is important to talk about Bespoke. Bespoke is Rolls-Royce's customizing program. So a lot of manufacturers have that now, where you can, why did that man, he was standing in the street checking his mail with a blowtorch. Interesting. Wisconsin things. Anyways, bespoke, customizability, right? So with like Porsche, you can do paint to sample, and then you have like Porsche exclusive, and then there's Sonderwunsch, like the special wishes. So you can do a lot of stuff. Similarly with Rolls-Royce Bespoke, you can customize colors, you can change pretty much anything your bank account can support. And I have seen some pretty crazy things. I have a friend who ordered a Ghost, and kind of like on the Cullinan here where it says Cullinan, on the Ghost they had like the lit up illuminated Ghost lettering, a bunch of these little laser drilled holes with illumination, and he changed the word Ghost to say Dream. It was a terrifyingly expensive option. I think it was like 40 grand or something like that. I was like, you paid $8,000 per letter, but that is an example of the kind of customizability you are able to do when you order a Rolls-Royce. I know for the Ghost, they said like on average buyers spend something like 10 or 15% of the price of the vehicle on bespoke options. And we're talking already a pretty high price tag. Something else like Shooting Star Headliner, right? Star Headliner, iconic. You have to get that in a Rolls-Royce. Shooting Star, even cooler, randomly see a shooting star go across. But then you can also set that to be the constellation in the sky of a special date, location. Maybe it's where you proposed on wherever. Like it, the level of customizability is essentially endless. They're also upping the level of what they offer just as a standard feature set. You have a new interior combo that uses bamboo and this wild stitching that takes like, it's like 1.1, oh no, it's 11 miles of thread, and it takes like 20 hours to do. The number of cows that had to pay, or bulls, because they don't use cow leather because of stretch marks, I believe. The number of bulls that had to pay the ultimate sacrifice to line every surface inside a Rolls-Royce is also very, very high. This is a vehicle of excess, because when you think about shopping for a car like this, a vehicle, an SUV like this, what are you cross-shopping against? You could argue the GLS Maybach, and you could argue the Bentley Bentayga. But I still think this is a tier up. The Maybach is truly nice in the back seat. It's like a private jet experience. The pillows, the recliners, everything. And I think you get a bit more of the absolute technology, but a GLS Maybach is still a GLS underneath, and a GLS starts at, well, like under $100,000. The Bentley Bentayga, I think, leans a bit more sporty, and they have elevated that, and it's really, really nice. The crystal headlights are really cool, but that's a VW platform family vehicle. I mean, you can trace its roots to other lesser vehicles. The Cullinan is built off of the architecture of luxury. No longer is it like the previous Ghost was on a BMW 7 Series platform, and people would call it an overpriced 7 Series. And there were some things that you could see in between the family part sharing, right? Not anymore. Rolls-Royce has gone to their architecture of luxury, which I think is hilarious, because other OEMs are like, it's the MQB Evo, or the whatever. It's the alphanumeric letters and numbers for their platforms. Not Rolls-Royce. Architecture of luxury. Anytime I'm in a Rolls-Royce, it's just such an occasion. It's an experience. Yeah, you have the tech, the suspension, the sound system, like all of these things. But what you can't quantify, and it's very hard to convey, is like the overall holistic feeling you have when you're in something like this, and also the perception. It's just a fact. When you're in a Rolls-Royce, people treat you differently. Like, I'm nobody, right? I can't afford to even, I couldn't probably afford the options on this specific Cullinan. But when I'm in a Rolls-Royce driving around, people like perceive you as being super important, because typically the buyers of these vehicles are in some capacity. My favorite story is when I had a Ghost in California. We went to this really high-end like hotel, country club kind of thing for dinner. And it's gated because there's like residences there too. And I was with a good friend of mine, and usually pull up to the gate and they ask you, hey, what are you here for? Are you staying on site? Do you live? Whatever. And we pull up to the gate, and the gate's already on its way up. The guy just like waves us through. And he's like, that never happens to me when I come in my Volvo. And I'm like, I think it's because we're in a Rolls-Royce. They just assume you belong there. We pull up to the valet, and the valet's like running up to grab the door. It's different. And I think out of all the top tier luxury brands, Rolls-Royce is still the king. Rolls-Royce has the presence, and I've always said, if you're driving something like a Cullinan, a Phantom, a well-optioned Ghost, or a Dawn, like it takes a proper supercar to match the attention and presence you'll get while driving something like this. It's an occasion. It's an occasion. The fact that some people can just daily drive these things, that's a privilege. That's pretty dang awesome, because I would love that. Couple other things to note about changes. They put the Spirit of Ecstasy in a little like clock cabinet on the dash. That's interesting. You have a dash clock there. With that, we are running, this is still a iDrive like skin with Rolls-Royce, so you have like the shortcut buttons. Believe I was told, yeah, 8 is currently set to raise and lower the Spirit of Ecstasy. I love seeing the hood ornament out there. It's so cool. That is so cool. Starry headliner, I can turn that on and off. This is, it just smells nice too. You can't convey smell in the video, but if I could, this smells expensive. This smells like leather and good things. Another thing I love is anything that, like whatever material it looks like, it is. So wood, metal, you can feel the cold metal here. The steering wheel is very thin. It's very almost like a boat-like, like you're steering a yacht. Yeah, Rolls-Royce Cullinan, Series 2. And the details. As my speedometer was dropping, like the needle has like these sparkly effect around it, like stars. That's so cool. That's a digital cluster, but it's just like it's like the most Rolls-Royce classy of all digital clusters. What else? What else do we have to say about the Rolls-Royce Cullinan Series 2? Off-road. I wonder how many people have properly taken a Rolls-Royce Cullinan off-road. We need like somebody like Whistling Diesel. Where am I? I don't know. I'm going to turn around and head back to Road America. Somebody like Whistling Diesel do some insane like Rolls-Royce. Although he did one with a Phantom, like off-road test. Or like I don't know if you guys remember, there was this account called Tax the Rich. And they would just do the most insane stuff with like Ferrari F40, F50 rallying. Like, I think they did one with a Bugatti and an Enzo, just like waltzing through the fields in these cars. That's what off-road mode is for. You got to have that level of wealth to be able to do that. Of course, adjustable height air suspension, tons of tech luxury, sound system. Another thing I love about Rolls-Royces is the airflow speed. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's uncivilized. Why would you even consider that? It's soft, medium, high, or max. I'll take some medium. I'm getting some medium air at me right now. Medium velocity air. Yeah, that it also masks speed so well. That's freeway speeds. And it feels like I'm doing 50 miles an hour. It just goes wafting, the waftability. Now, if I were to buy a Rolls-Royce, what would I buy myself? Cullinan's cool, but I think I would still go for a Ghost. I like the sedan platform. Cullinan, maybe if I was being driven in the back, right? Or you just want something bigger. Like, I feel like my wife, Angel, she likes being higher up. So she would go for the Cullinan, and I would add a Rolls-Royce in the garage, and therefore I just spent $1 million, and we are permanently poor for the next 3 generations because we couldn't afford to order one of these things new. Honey, I bought a Rolls-Royce. Not 1, but 2. Cullinan for you, Ghost for me. She'd be happy for 30 seconds and then realize how much they cost, and then I'd be in trouble for the next 17 fiscal quarters. Anyways, I am just rambling now. Back at Road America. Today's been a exhausting day, but to finish it off in a Rolls-Royce Cullinan is not a bad way to end the day. I've driven everything from an M5 Touring to Golf GTI to now the Rolls-Royce. Got to take a picture as I'm coming in. So there we go, a quick drive in the Series 2 Cullinan. I think the updates look a bit better in person. I still don't absolutely love the looks. We'll see if that grows on me. Maybe see a couple different specs, check out what a black badge looks like with blacked out trim. But I mean, driving this thing, they didn't change any of the fundamentals. It still has the twin turbo V12, the smooth quietness, the serene comfort, like all the good things you would expect a vehicle of this price point and prestige to have, and what you imagine a Rolls-Royce Cullinan is like to drive. Multiply that by 2 in terms of the comfort and the prestige and the ballerness. Ballerness, that's the word to use. The waftability, all of the, I'm just making up words through this whole video, but yeah, these things are, it's always a treat to take a Rolls-Royce for a drive. Go ahead, put it into park. Also, let's see, if I open the door, I can close it, but I don't think this has power open. No power open, but it does have power close. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video with the Rolls-Royce Cullinan. Check out my videos of the Ghost. Spent a lot of time with the pre-refresh Ghost. Really enjoyed that. Thanks for watching.